Hey there, everybody. Welcome. It is another edition of the Netcrashers Intermission, heard every single week around the world on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, netcrashers.ca, and as well, YouTube. Hey, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for joining us once again, everybody. Of course, we're doing 2 Minute Minor. We've got that coming up as well. We've got this week's Chirp of the Week coming up as well. We thank everybody that tuned into this week's episode, Fantasy Studs and Duds episode, and everybody as well that checked out the first edition of Netcrashers Ice Picks with Murph. If you have not checked that out yet, make sure that you go check that out right now on the YouTube channel. So, with that said, of course, Greener's in the house.
Hi.
Reynolds in the house.
I'm back again, number 3.
And Let's in the house also. Yes, I do. We've got today our topic for 2 Minute Minor actually comes from Twitter. We had a Ben Odell tweeted in a question for us just a couple of days ago, or a few days ago now, and I tweeted in a question, and Ben asked, "Who do you guys think is the best second center right now in the NHL? Best second line center in the NHL?" It is a great question. It got me thinking, and I was like, that's a Netcrashers 2 Minute Minor right there.
Here we are,
and that's what we're doing. We are going to do it, and I'll lead things off this week, and we're going to talk about the best second line centers in the NHL today. So I guess without any further ado, let's get underway, eh?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. So far this season, Thomas Plekanec is proving to be the most effective second-line center in the NHL, in my opinion. He leads the Habs with 5 goals this year, and he's got 9 points in 8 games. In his 10th NHL season, Plekanec is looking the best he ever has right now. He's long been a stabilizing force in the Habs lineup, with teammates praising his underrated two-way abilities, and it's easy to forget that Plekanec is a former 70-point scorer. Now, whether or not he's in the middle of a hot streak or he's benefiting from favorable matchups from playing on the second line behind David Desharnais, the point remains that he is helping to carry the Habs offense early this season, and it's helped the Canadiens in a big way, as the team is at the top of the Eastern Conference and tied right now for first in the NHL with the Anaheim Ducks.
When thinking about who would be the best second-line center option right there, I considered a number of factors. First, the player has to be a true second-line center. That means in an ideal situation, there should be a center in the depth chart who's a better point producer than him in the number 1 spot, and guys to fill out the number 3 and 4 spots that are grinders and shutdown role players. Next, the player has to have the ability to produce modest point totals when asked, and also have the ability to shut down and intimidate the opposition's best forwards and defensemen. And finally, the player has to be a leader, either wearing an A or captaining his respective hockey club. And for these reasons, I believe David Backes is the best second-line center option in the game right now, as he embodies all those qualities.
I'm going to have to go with Evgeny Malkin for the best second-line center in the game today. He's a first-line center on any other team that doesn't have Sidney Crosby. Malkin is a 4-time 30-goal scorer, 2-time Art Ross Trophy winner, Conn Smythe winner, Hart Trophy winner, Ted Lidsley Award winner, and most of all, Stanley Cup champion. An explosive player with size, speed, and strength, and some of the best hands in the game. Malkin has 10 points in 7 games so far this season. Where Malkin does his most damage is on the impressive Pittsburgh Penguins power play, where he has 3 goals so far this season. If he can manage to stay healthy, we'll see another 30-goal season for Big Gino this year.
And I think one common thread between all of our picks, leadership. All leadership players on every single team. And that does it. There it is. 2 Minute Minor. That was almost perfect.
Yeah.
That was darn near perfect. No, I think, that's the one common thread between all those players is the leadership. I mean, you see a lot of teams. LA Kings spring to mind as a team that really heavied up on centerman. It is a crucial position.
It's where it all starts.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I think, obviously your goaltender is your most important position on any hockey team, but I think second, it's center. You need to have somebody solid, especially, as I've said this a couple of times so far this season, but where in a hockey world where puck possession is increasingly becoming one of the main focuses of successful teams, having effective centerman guys that can play two-way games, guys that can score, guys that can give your team a chance at the start of every single shift. Those are guys who are very important. I think Plekanec does it. I think David Backes does it. I think obviously Evgeny Malkin, like you said. I mean, he's a first line guy on any other team. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
But on any other team in the NHL, I'd have to think maybe outside of John Tavares, with the New York Islanders.
Yeah, besides Chicago, the Islanders, and maybe the Kings with Anze Kopitar.
But I really like considering this question because when you look through the depth charts, and we went to Roto World, which has a great layout on a single page. You can see every single team in the NHL. You look down and you look at the number 2 options. there are not that many really top-tier options out there.
No.
But to win a Stanley Cup and to be successful, you have to have that kind of caliber or pedigree on your team, which makes it, when you consider it, even more valuable sometimes than having a first option. I mean, you have guys who are out there for point production,
Yep.
but you want to have that second option who can do a little bit of everything. The heavy lifting when he needs to do it. Get the power play time. Penalty kill.
Well, that's why somebody like Ryan Kessler managed to go to the Anaheim Ducks because, he brings all those intangibles to the game, the two-way play and all that. They already have the goal scoring, like you said. But when it comes to just having a little bit of everything, someone like Ryan Kessler comes to mind, and Anaheim Ducks made a really bold move picking him up this year, and obviously it's paying dividends.
And here's another point that I think is worth making, is that if you look at the teams that we mentioned, Montreal, they've had a lot of success the past several years. Right now, they're one of the best teams in the NHL to start this season. The St. Louis Blues, although they're off to a bit of a rough start where they lost their new kind of number one centerman in Paul Stastny.
For sure, he's the number one.
They still, for the past 2 to 3 years, have been a great team, especially in the Hart Central Division. And then you look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, who perennially are Eastern Conference champion contenders. Successful teams with depth at center. It's not something. If you look at, for example, the Carolina Hurricanes right now. If I'd ask you who the second line center for the Carolina Hurricanes, could you tell me who it is?
Yuri Tulusty?
Nope. Victor Rask.
Yes.
Well,
that's not going to win you games.
It's supposed to be Jordan Stahl.
But technically, yes, it is supposed to be Jordan Stahl. But I mean, as of right now, and we all know the start that Carolina Hurricanes have gotten off to this season. Look at Edmonton Oilers. It's been a rotating door. I mean, now it's Leon Draisaitl in there, and inexperience. Look at the Buffalo Sabres, inexperience. There's only one team, in my opinion, that without center depth has been able to succeed. And that's because of the talent they have everywhere else in their lineup. That's the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yes.
I mean, yes, they don't have much depth at center, but their number one center is one of the best players in the world.
And they managed to pick up Brad Richards, who was known to be a good player,
exactly.
Having a couple off years.
Yeah.
But you never know. A resurgence on a team like that where, like you said, they have every other place or piece in place.
Yeah.
They got Corey Crawford in net. They got fantastic defensemen. Some of the best wingers that's in the National Hockey League right now. So, Brad Richards is going to flourish in a place like that.
And,
absolutely.
Just one more centerman who I think we overlooked, and it's worth giving him a shout-out, is Patrice Bergeron in Boston, who on any given night could be the number one centerman.
Yeah.
Right now, he's slotted in behind Krejci in the second-line role.
Yeah.
But he's a guy who's just like Tavares. He's just like Taves. Not Tavares. He's just like Taves. He can be that complete two-way player.
Yeah.
We've seen him through all the statistical indices in the last couple of years as being one of the best defensive forwards, if not the best defensive forward in the game today.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I mean, it's just one of those commonalities. Again, he's a leader in the locker room.
For sure. Absolutely. And thanks again to Ben Odell for tweeting that in for us. A great topic for 2 Minute Minor. And if you have a topic for 2 Minute Minor, you can tweet them into us. Or, as well, we'd love it if you stop by our website, netcrashers.ca. Right there on the sidebar, when you first enter the website, it says submit your own question for 2 Minute Minor. Make sure you go and do that. Give us something to talk about, because we love interacting with fans and stuff. We love this new segment gives us a great excuse kind of to interact with fans.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of which, we've got this week's Chirp of the Week.
Oh, shit talkers online. Who would have ever thought to be on the internet?
Our Chirp of the Week. And the most beautiful thing about Chirp of the Week is that it can be one of two things. It could be somebody with a kind of a general all-purpose chirp like we had last week. As well, it could be a direct chirp toward us or toward a different player. It could also be
fighting words.
It could also just be like a great chirp that has already been said by somebody in the history of the game. And that is what this week's chirp is. It's coming from Darren Knight on Twitter. Darren, we thank you so much for tweeting your Netcrashers chirp using the hashtag Netcrashers chirp as well. And this one comes from the Warrior poet Steve Ott from a few years ago when Steve Ott was playing for the Dallas Stars. When he said to Claude Giroux as they were preparing to take a face-off, "I'm ranked 5th in face-offs. Check NHL.com." Which is just such a great chirp, because a lot of chirps they're directed. It's all about the guy you're chirping, but this one was kind of like a "I'm so awesome" chirp. It was hilarious.
It's a pure gloat.
It's so funny.
And you're not going to get mad at that. If anything, if you're Claude Giroux, you're going to have a good laugh.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly, if memory serves, that's exactly what he did, is he kind of chuckled at it, because what else are you supposed to do? And Steve Ott, he says something like that to you, which I don't believe was even true.
Remember the days in Dallas when he was the first and second line player?
Things have changed.
Oh, have the times have changed?
Yeah, really though, it's a slight upgrade.
to say
Slight
to
upgrade.
say the least.
To say the absolute least. So that's the Netcrashers chirp for this week. The chirp of the week for this week. Remember to send yours in as well. Use the hashtag Netcrashers chirp. And I guess that wraps up this week's edition of the Netcrashers Intermission. And we thank you so much for tuning in on the RSS feed, the website, and as well on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure, of course, that you subscribe to all of that good stuff. Remember, of course, we'll have a brand new episode that is coming out Monday morning. And then it starts again with another intermission this time next week. And Reynolds, let them know where they can find us online.
Just want to remind you first that if you didn't see it already, a new video segment came out yesterday,
Yes, yeah.
Ice Picks. It's also on the YouTube channel. It's courtesy of our friend of the show, Murph. Run MKS.
Run MKS. Yep.
Run MKS on Twitter. So thank you, Murph. Check it out. It's a brief highlight package of all the best plays that have happened in the first month of the NHL season. So check that out. Ice Picks on the YouTube channel as well. Netcrashers.ca is the home base to everything. So you can find links to Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher Radio. If you use Stitcher, use the promo code Netcrashers. You can go to iTunes, listen to the show as well through the website. If you use iTunes, please rate and review the podcast. And like I said, Twitter's the way to go. Get at us at Twitter, at Netcrashers. I'm at Jeremy_Reynolds. Hashtag Netcrashers Chirp. Because we're having a lot of fun with that so far.
Absolutely. I'm going to echo that sentiment. Hashtag Netcrashers Chirp. And you can follow me as well at Stephen Leth, STPHEN. LETH.
I am at NL Greener. Thanks for watching, guys. Like the boys said, keep it tuned into Netcrashers, no matter where it's to, whether it's iTunes, whether it's Twitter, whether it's the website. You got to watch. You got to listen. Hashtag bang bang. Lace them up.
Thanks for watching Netcrashers Intermission. New episodes are out every Thursday on YouTube, and be sure to check out our new segment, Ice Picks, out on the last Wednesday of every month. Be sure to check out netcrashers.ca for everything related to Netcrashers, the Netcrashers universe. And with that being said, lace them up.